Where's the girl?
I told you. I don't know.
There's still a chance to redeem yourself, Mr. Wallace. Where is she?
So first of all, thank you for sticking with me. I appreciate it, and I'm so honored to have you on. So thank you for that.
No, absolutely. Thanks for having me, man. It's always a surprise when people want to do interviews because I kind of shy away from them. So you're like my second one this year, and I hadn't done one in months, actually.
So I appreciate the honor, man. Thank you for that. I'm going to say, just looking at your life. So when I research people, obviously your acting skills are people know how good they are. I was not expecting how shredded you were and the seriousness of how you take your workout. That caught me off guard. Like I wasn't, I was like, see, I run like 3 miles a day, but then I blow it on the weekend with beer because that's my Achilles heel.
Right.
But dude, when I looked, I was like, holy cow, this guy's no joke. So obviously, when people talk about body and mind, man, you're one of those people that really takes that to heart.
Yeah, absolutely. I just, some things we have control over,
Yeah.
and being in shape and eating well is one of them. Among all the things that we don't have control over, the toxins in the atmosphere, the food, of course. So I take it seriously because I know I can control the outcome of that.
Right. Do you have an Achilles heel when they always show on the Rock's cheat day he has these like huge pancakes he eats like that he downs. What is your like cheat or breakout food when you're not training or doing your thing?
Cookies,
yeah.
I got it bad. Sometimes I have to fast off of them because once I get started, it's like I can't stop.
Yeah.
Cookies.
What made you decide to get so hard into the CrossFit? I mean, with those who are watching this, when it posts, just take a look at Kendrick's Facebook page. It's unbelievable the dedication you have.
Thanks, man.
Why go into it so hard? Why do you? I hear what you're saying about getting in shape, but why CrossFit? You could have done a million other things, right?
I've always been athletic, and sometimes we lift so much doing the same thing over and over again that me personally, I like the challenge. Someone turned me on to it. I went to one workout and couldn't believe that I couldn't hang with those guys in there. So it made me like, you know what? I'm gonna keep going until I can hang with them. So, and CrossFit is just that challenging. Plus, it's functional. It's not like a lifting where you get all tight. You're able to power lift and take off running for a mile. So I like the functionality of it too.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I was listening to Joe Rogan today, Kendrick, and I thought of you. He was talking, he had a bunch of comedians on, and he said, as you get older, you have to lift, you have to keep your muscles toned. Like you have to, because he was talking about how Jay Leno fell, and the older you get, like that takes more of a toll on your body. Yep. And it's really important not to lose muscle mass.
Right.
So I thought about how like you're always at it. There's a lot of truth to what he's saying, right, Kendrick?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one of my fears. I don't want to be, and no disrespect to the elders, but I just don't want to be hunched over. I don't want to be walking with a cane. I don't want to be have to call someone to pick up something and put it over my head.
Right.
So I can control that now by doing what I'm doing now. I can prepare myself for when I do get older. I want to be 70 and still like, just getting out there and getting it like the Indians used to. They 70, 80 and be out there hunting buffalo and stuff. And
looking great.
Yeah. So it's just goals. I set goals to internal goals and try to make them come true daily, instead of trying to put something off 2 years from now. Each day I want to get better, and I do whatever it takes to make that happen.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. My last question on this is, so dedication is not a problem for me. Like to get myself out there running today was like 7 degrees. I'm out there, I'm doing my thing. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
What would you recommend And the diet part's on me too. Like, you have to have both. You can't just do the running and not the diet, because it's a waste of everything.
Right.
What would you recommend from a muscle point of view for somebody getting into CrossFit, or somebody listening to this and says, you know what, maybe I need to cash in on that New Year's goal of trying to get a little bit more healthy, a little more fit? What would you recommend from a weights point of view, Kendrick?
What do you mean? Like,
in other words, what would you tell somebody to start off with? Like, are there certain things that are there apps like, so you're pretty advanced watching your page and watching your workouts. You're pretty advanced. Right. What are some like elementary things you can maybe throw out there that people would say, you know what? Okay, I could start with that and go from there.
Squats.
Yes. Okay.
I mean, it drives everything, and to be able to squat. I think even Joe Rogan, or there was something I was watching, a doctor, he said that the number one thing you can do for yourself is build your quads, is have just work on squats.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't do it every day. Sorry. I would do a form of it every day. I would do weights, and then maybe do something more functional, air squats, or and you alternate and do front squats. Just work different angles and just build that leg strength. Because I think the more you squat, or the heavier you squat, it builds testosterone too. So
gotcha.
That's it. After 40, man, we start going down our testosterone. So you want to keep that up. It makes you look younger. It's a whole bunch of benefits to having high testosterone levels. Also, get those checked. Go get your testosterone levels checked. And if you have to take a supplement or whatever, I absolutely suggest doing it to build. To stay strong and stay ready. As I always like to say.
I feel like at this point I owe you money for all the advice you're giving me. So
not at all, man. Not at all.
Kendrick, did you grew up in Kentucky?
Yes.
Yes. Tell me about Kentucky, and tell me where your love starts for the career and path that you're in, and then tell me how it evolves, maybe to where you are now. I know you don't have to go through every single thing, but just give me the Cliff Notes version of how that unfolded for you, Kendrick.
Kentucky, it wasn't a thought in Kentucky. We grew up pretty rough, but it was, for some reason, I was always different than everybody. Not saying I thought I was better, but I would often, and I'm gonna try to say this without sounding crazy, stand outside of myself and see things at a young age that I thought that's not right, or I want to be better. So Kentucky taught me. They used to joke at me because I was like the only guy in elementary that would carry a briefcase to school. I was just weird. I was just fun. I was funny, but I was shy.
Yeah. I
was good at sports, but I wasn't great. I was, every sport I played, I excelled in, but I wasn't, of course, I'm not in the NBA, and I had a love for basketball more than the acting. Kentucky was just more family, and because I left when I was 12, and then we moved to Germany, so I was still pretty young, but I was knowledgeable. By the time I got overseas, people would often say, "Man, you're pretty mature for a 13-year-old." I spoke German after a year there. I learned.
Wow.
Yeah, so we moved off base, and all my friends were German, and I picked it up, and so I was fluent in German by 14, I think. So much so, my mother would say she would hear me speaking German in my sleep sometimes, and it would scare her. She thought somebody would be in the house.
Wow.
But yeah, I just always had that, I don't know, if something in me, something guiding me, something just making me fully aware of everything at a young age, which is pretty cool. I'm still like that today,
Yeah. How big is the culture shock going from a 12-year-old kid in Kentucky to Germany? Is that a big shock to the system for you?
Yeah, it's huge. You're scared. You didn't want to leave. All my family was there, and you don't know what to expect. Only what you see in books or TV, and being that young. But when I got there, I loved it, man. I can't really explain. I felt like I belonged there the whole time.
Right.
My friends, and then of course living on the military base and going to a military high school, it was everyone. It was Asians, it was whites, so I learned diversity really quick, especially like from my neighborhood in Kentucky. It was mostly Afro Americans. Growing up there just diversified everything about me, and just I have friends in all nationalities now, and I still keep in touch with some of them today. But the culture shock was just, yeah, being somewhere that that you didn't know. I don't know, but I felt like I belonged there because it's a foreign country.
Right.
You don't know how to move. But I was so free, Derek, that I would get on the train by myself. I would take the bus by myself, and I felt comfortable doing it.
Yeah.
Especially after I started learning the language. People were pretty nice, respectably. I never had any problems there, and again, the high school, the middle school, high school that I went to, everybody was just cool. They
Yeah.
they joked me out of my Kentucky accent. That's probably why you don't hear it no more. But yeah, I went there. I was like this little country boy, and I just, I don't know. It turned something on in me.
Yeah. Yeah. So was your dad in the military? Is that what happened? It was one of your
My
relatives?
my mother.
Your mother was in the military.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And growing up in that military environment, that had to play a part too, right? Like, just like you're saying, like, it kind of does it bring a new perspective? Because you talked about, having that perspective as a young kid.
Right.
Does it give you more perspective as a young adult, you think?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It almost drew me into joining the military myself. Being around structure. Yeah, everything was structured from the housing, from the military base. When we eventually moved on, there were certain rules that you had to follow, and you just around these soldiers 24/7. You just start to learn and understand that the reason that they're there, for one, is definitely. It just got inside my head. It made me want to be in the military for the longest, actually. Not quite sure why I didn't join, but um, I don't know. And watching my mother, who got us out of a situation, she joined at 33. She was one of the oldest
Wow.
soldiers. Yeah, she was one of the oldest soldiers in basic training, and she did it for us. So I just have a new. It gave me a sense of pride, just watching her polish her boots and go to work and do for us what we weren't able to do when we were, in Kentucky. So yeah, Germany was, I didn't want to leave.
Right.
I got so stuck that we were there 4 years, and when it was time to go, I was like, no, I don't want to, I don't want to leave. But of course, we had to.
She sounds like an amazing person, Kendrick, your mom.
Yeah,
At 33 years old, my God, what a move! And then get to go to Germany. That's another huge move. So,
right.
talk about, you talked about early on when you were in Kentucky, how you always felt like you had that insight as a kid.
Yeah.
Some of that sounds like it came from your mother. A
Oh
lot of
yeah,
it,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah,
Absolutely. She's a special woman. It's so cool because right now she's like uh well known in our community. They gave her the key to the city. Um, anything goes on in our community, it goes through her. And they all look up to her, and she does all the paperwork, and when people pass on, she does these nice obituaries for them and everything. So she's a special woman.
yeah.
We all say our moms are good, but I can honestly say my mother has done an amazing job with her life, and I respect her wholeheartedly.
Yeah, it sounds like a godsend, certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you come back to the States after Germany, Kendrick.
Yep. We came back to South Carolina.
Okay,
So
and
that's
what? And what's your first jump into acting? Like, are there movies that you loved as a kid? Is there an actor you loved as a kid? Is there a show you loved as a kid? What sparks that, Kendrick? What sparks the love of acting?
Yeah. So it was something that. So I love TV. I love
Yeah,
movies. Always have, and I always wanted to be an actor. Just never knew how.
yeah,
And because I was so in love with basketball, that's all I could think about. I want to be in the NBA. I want to be, this guy, that guy. And so that was really my first love. The acting bug didn't hit me until South Carolina. I used to be this big poetry guy.
yeah.
And I would travel all over the United States with the band. We used to I've opened up for Boys to Men before, and Charlie Wilson, just doing poetry, and people start to know me as Kenny the Poet. And when one day I was performing, and some ladies had come up and they were like, "It looked like you're doing a play. It looked like you're doing theater." And I was like, "Wow, yeah. It just looks like you're acting. You know, your movements and your passion and your feeling, and that is what kind of sparked the interest in it." An ex-girlfriend of mine, she met an agent in Charlotte, North Carolina, and she told him about me. He was like, "Oh yeah, tell him give me a call." You know, just throwing it away. I called him, went down and took a few classes. I booked my first commercial right out of class.
Yeah.
And right then I knew that I was on to something.
Yeah.
Because before then I was just lost. You know, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And it took me to 30 before I realized, okay, this is something that I might be good at.
Yeah.
And that I might have a passion for and enjoy doing. You know, we gotta enjoy what we do.
So I want to ask about those commercials, because I noticed that you did quite a lot when you booked them. So let me ask you this: you mentioned the NBA twice, so I have to ask you because I love the NBA. Who was your team growing up?
Oh, Chicago Bulls, of course.
Yeah.
If we go further back, I was a big Dr. J fan.
Yeah.
So Philly. Who else? The NBA, just in general, back then, so much better than it is now. You know, I had so many favorite teams. Orlando, you know, when Shaq and Penny Hardaway was there.
Hardaway, yeah.
Ooh, I mean, them guys, the Knicks, you know, the old Lakers. Like, everybody just played so hard that it was just really hard for you to say, I like this team over that team. But of course, I was a Jordan fan, so Chicago was the way to go back then.
Well, you stole my next question, because like I hate to debate LeBron versus Jordan. It's not even close. Like, no. Jordan, it's taken LeBron 8 years, and he still hasn't caught Jordan in some categories. Like 8 years longer as far as playing career.
Right.
That's it. Jordan is the best ever. Bird and Magic saved the game. Yep. And that's it. Like, I almost feel like people talk like there was no history. So Kendrick, like, you and I are the same age. I hate when people like speak as if like basketball didn't exist if it happened before their lifetime, right? Like somebody who's 20 or 21. It's like, well, history took place, my friend, when you were not born. So I don't know. I feel like it's a crazy. I don't know. I love we grew up in the same era, so I appreciate the same things that you appreciate.
Yeah, it's not even close. Jordan all day. I mean, even defensively, you steal the ball from Jordan, guess what? He's gonna chase you down and block it or steal it back. You know.
Yeah.
You don't see that on the LeBron side, and no take away from LeBron. I love LeBron. Yeah. I just hate that they're comparing them to. It's not even in the same category, in my opinion. You know,
or like last year when JJ Redick called like Bob Cousy and like Bill Russell's guys, but he called them like plumbers and like farmers, and it's like, dude, that is like no respect for it. I'm sorry, JJ Redick sounds just ridiculous.
Right, yeah. Know? I mean, even Kobe to me was better than LeBron. So I mean.
I agree with that. I agree. And LeBron Kendrick is very foul dependent. He needs those fouls. Jordan just was I mean, when people got fouled in 80s, 90s, they got fouled. Like Lambeer, when he hits you, he hits you. Oh, like now if you get too close, if you get within 3 feet of LeBron, it's a foul. It's a personal foul. Like, so it's like, forget it.
That's how the league's turned out anyway. You know, it's just totally different now. They don't play defense. It's not, I don't know, those games back in the day. I mean, you could watch an old team like Cleveland back in the day with Ron Harper?
But like, all those
them guys can play, you know. Latrell Sprewell, come on.
That's a name I haven't heard in a while. Yeah, he was great.
And the other guy from the Sonics that could jump out the
Sean Kemp. Yeah.
Come on, man. Come on. Like, they don't have players like that anymore. These guys are good, don't get me wrong, but I think the rules have changed so much that I don't know, it's just not entertaining for me anymore.
Charles Oakley would kill somebody in today's NBA.
Oh, absolutely.
And you know what? I wish Draymond was in our era for 1 week. Like, he goes against guys that don't want to fight.
Right.
But like during the 80s and 90s, there'd be more than enough people that would want to accommodate his wishes to play.
Right. You know? Everybody. Boston. Come on, Larry Bird.
Yeah.
A monster, man.
You know, I heard this crazy stat the other. I'm sorry. I'll get this is the last thing I'll say about the NBA. I heard a crazy stat. Robert Parrish played 40,000 minutes. Mm-hmm. Never got a technical. Isn't that insane? His entire career, not one technical.
You know what? Now that you think about it, yeah, because he was quiet. You know.
Draymond can't go 48 hours without a technical. Never mind 15, 16 years.
Yeah, he's a tough guy now, you know?
Yeah. So, dude, you're booking commercials like left and right. At that point, are you realizing, like, wait a second, like, because you've done it, you've done TV, you've done movies, but like, I feel like commercials are huge because one, they let you like kind of feel your way around a little bit and you see
Right.
what it's like.
Right.
Was that your experience, Kendrick, when you did commercials?
Yeah, it kind of warmed me up for the bigger picture. um, and it's more because a lot of times you're not speaking. There might be just a non-speaking principal role, but you still have to be convincing. You still have to be um, in the moment. You still have to be present, and a lot of that it just made me more comfortable and more not nervous when it comes to like the bigger roles coming up. I was already like, oh, I'm cool. I can do this.
Right. Like your mom started the military at 33. You start your acting at pretty much the same age, right? In that 30 ballpark. So
Yeah, I think I was 29 when I got my first gig, or 30.
and you've got over like 100 credits. So like you really did a lot in a short period of time, Kendrick. Right?
Yeah. I took off. I think once I understood that this, how can I put this into words? Once I understood that this was for me, that I enjoyed doing it, it's like again, something turned on inside of me, and I just went after every role. I went after, ultimately I would walk in and they, casting, hey Kendrick, hey, and you could hear them talking to directors, hey, this is Kendrick, he's great, he's gonna kill it, and I, something about me, I was always professional. I was always, if I'm on set with stars, I'm not at all in their face. Let me get a picture, or can I get an autograph? I had to understand that I was the star on set, and not to be egotistical. It was just stay in your lane, be professional, do what you do, and they're gonna love you. And that's why I get called back, and casting knows me, and certain directors know me. I get on set sometimes, and a writer was like, "Yeah, I was looking at your resume, and you never know who's watching you." So
Right.
you always put on a good show. No matter how big or small the role is, you just always put out top effort, and they're gonna love you.
Yeah, that's a great point. I had one quick question before we jump into Stranger Things, which I had a few questions on.
Sure.
What role do you think changed things for you? Right, so you're doing commercials. What role do you feel like, in your opinion? And I'm not going to guess by looking at your IMDb because there's a lot there. I mean, there's there's so much. So, like, is there a role that you're like, that's the one that really kind of fueled my career?
So I think Ambitions,
Yeah.
my very first series regular role, it kind of put a spotlight on me because people didn't know who I was, and I was amongst some giants: Robin Givens, Essence Atkins, and I was number 4 on the call sheet, which was really mind blowing and really scary and really cool at the same time. But one of my acting coaches was like, "You got to understand that you deserve to be there," because at some point you'll start doubting a little bit, being the new guy.
Yeah.
But she made me understand, you earned it. I earned it, and I deserve to be there. Just go do what you normally been doing, and they'll love you. And I don't say I was the favorite, but people would often tell me, man, you're the best one on the show, and da 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 da, and which was an honor to me because I wasn't trying to be the best one on the show. I was just trying to be the best character and the best Kendrick that I could be, and make people really feel my character, which they did.
Yeah.
So Ambitions was probably, it was the hardest, that's for sure. But it just taught me so much, and I'm so comfortable now on screen, in auditions and things like that, where most times you're really nervous on these things because you got people watching you that can change your life.
Right.
So now, the more I do, the more I'm just like, I have a conversation. I talk to them like I'm talking to you, and
Right.
they say, all right, let me see the audition, and we get through it, and 85% of the time I get the call back. So yeah, it's been a lot.
Yeah. Earlier we talked about like the NBA, we mentioned sports. Like, do you ever feel like acting's like sports in this regard, where like, there's always like those wide receivers that like always want the ball. They want more playing time. They want more playing time. Do you feel like as an actor, like, do you find yourself in that spot where it's like, you know what? I feel like I can handle a lot of these roles that maybe you go up for, maybe not get. Like, is there ever like a sense of like, I wish I had more playing time. I wish I had like, I'm not saying just to work, because acting is a very difficult profession in that way because it's so inconsistent, right? You're flying high one day, next day, and then you're back up again. So do you ever feel like it's like, you know what? If they gave me that opportunity, you know what? I'm pretty confident I do well with this. Like, is there more like that playing time craving? Is that a thing for actors?
For me, I'm never like I don't give myself enough credit. So I know I can do it. There's no reason I shouldn't be able to do it. And my mentality is like, if they can do it, why can't I? If Denzel can do it, why can't I? I'm not Denzel, of course, but I have to make myself understand that they're human just like me. They're studying just like me. So if this human can do it, why can't I? And that kind of gets me by, because it is scary. It really is. You get a lead role in a movie, the spotlight's on you. They're going to expect you to perform. They're going to expect you to do well. They're going to expect you to know your lines. And man, it gets really hard sometimes. With Ambitions, for example, I would come in my trailer, there'd be 4 scripts there waiting for me. And we shot 2 episodes a week.
Wow.
So, you're trying to manage that, and we shot it all out of order, so you might be episode 2 and 1. They would shoot summer 2, go to 1, come back to 2. So it's really difficult. It's not as easy as people think. Luckily, we make it seem that way, which is a good thing, but it's not as easy as people think. So, I never jump in with full confidence. Yeah, I'm the man. I can do this. I've never been cocky. I just know that I work hard, and
Right.
and if I can, I'll just ask for help. I'm not beneath asking for help, asking for an acting coach if I need one. But yes, it's not as easy as people think. It really isn't.
No, it is not. And I certainly realize that. Let me ask you this. So, Agent Wallace is maybe one of the more underrated characters in Stranger Things history, because if you read like Reddit or any of these other places, they really loved your character. Yeah, they said, I mean, there's like nonstop posts like props to unknown hero and Agent Wallace, who went through hell to protect 11. Like, and the Stranger Things fan base is so appreciative of those. Like, everyone's like, there's like shows where like it's always just the top of the call sheet where they're appreciated. With
Right.
Stranger Things, they see the character's uniqueness and what the character's about. So even though Agent Wallace was in, for those listening, you were in 5 episodes.
Right.
Season 4, episode 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, including episode 4, which is maybe a top 3 of all time. Talk about Agent Wallace, how you got that, Kendrick, and what kind of show Stranger Thing is to shoot on and shoot with, and your experiences with that.
First of all, I'm in awe that people noticed him and loved him, because I didn't know that till you told me just now.
Yeah.
So it's really cool hearing that from you, and knowing again that I'm not top of the show, but I still have a duty to perform. I still have to work and make them look good. Sorry, that's my dog. If you hear him making noise.
You are a dog guy too. I forgot to ask you about that. Yeah.
Yeah. But Agent Wallace, man, it was really incredible booking this role. And I'm going to tell you why. When I got the audition, and I told someone this before, it was one line. And the beautiful thing about me is I dive deep into the breakdown of the character when I'm auditioning, so that I try to give you a story regardless of how many lines it is. Next, being one line, that's all I thought I had in the whole show. I didn't know it was going to turn out to be 5, 6 episodes. So knowing that, some people would dismiss it. It's just one line. Oh, you're just a co-star. Whatever I don't know if I was co-star or guest, but people would dismiss that because it's just one line. I don't. I take it all serious, Derek. If I'm given that opportunity and I accept it, I'm gonna try to blow your minds with this audition. So the beautiful thing about it is I had my friend come over, and when I read the breakdown and saw that he was being tortured, and that it was just one line. I got creative. I took my shirt off, or I may have ripped it. I think I ripped my shirt. I sprayed water all over my head and put baby oil on, so because he was in a hot box,
Yeah.
and I fell from behind the camera in my audition. So
Yeah.
these like as soon as I get an audition and I read it, my mind just starts going crazy. Oh, I could do this, I could do that, and I try to be unique in Kendrick's way to let the director see a story, just like my poetry. You know, I performed it to where people could actually see more than just hearing the lines. They could see me act it out. And I think I just impressed them so much. They actually told me, "Yeah, I saw your tapes and we were blown away." But
Right.
I fell from behind the camera. I was panting. You know, everything, because you have to put yourself in the moment during these auditions. You have to be, sometimes I can smell stuff. That's how deep I get into it. You know, I could smell the sweat. I could smell the must. You know, he's been in there for days. He stinks. He's musty. And it helps put me in that particular moment, and then action, and we just go, you know, and it took months. You know, I didn't hear anything. I actually forgot about it. And they were like, "Hey, they want to pin you, or they checking your availability for the role." And I was like, "Oh, cool. Really?" You know, I forgot all about it, forgot the character and everything. And then it was even a couple of more months before I actually booked it. So yeah, they of course they have their reasons for doing that. Maybe they had a couple other people they were looking at. But yeah, I booked it. I was just excited. I think I ran down the street because, you know, I love Stranger Things. It's one of my favorite shows. And I think I just ran down the street yelling. You know, it's just such a big thing for me to be on this amazing show with these amazing kids and the producers. And yeah, when I got on set, the director, he was like, "Man, who are you?" Oh my gosh. He said, "I directed Oscar winners, and I've never seen a performance like this." I was like, "Really?" I said, "Man, you're messing with me, because, you know, I always think I'm not doing enough."
Right.
And he was like, "No." He had the guy that played the general. Both of them
Sullivan.
came.
Was it
Yeah,
Sullivan?
Sullivan. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
friend now. He was like,
Yeah.
"Bro, where'd you come from? Where'd
Yeah.
you?" That's my goal right there. Matter of fact,
Right.
I want to change your mind. I want to make you know that you got a good scene partner. No matter how big you are, you know. I did Arnold Schwarzenegger. I had him laughing, you know, and
Yeah.
I just want to be, I want to be relevant. I want people to say good job, you know.
Yeah.
That's all I need to hear. Good
Yeah.
job. I don't need fame, fortune, just, man, you did good work.
Yeah.
And my job is done.
There's a lot of Stranger Things fans that want to know if you're coming back for the last season.
So no.
Yeah. That's just
I don't know if I'm supposed to tell that, but I
yeah.
asked too when I heard it was coming on, and they said no, they didn't need me. So I
Yeah.
thought they were, because they put me back in the box, and I
Right,
thought,
because you don't see your like, because Screen Rant had a nice article about great characters who we never see like die but could come back again,
right,
and yours was Agent Wallace was certainly one because like yeah he's out of the hot box and then he's like you never see him die like but that interrogation scene, Kendrick, I was thinking about this when you were talking. There's a scene where like blood is coming off your lip or off your chin and
mm,
like you're just like out of breath and you're like you're breathing and it looks so like this man's been through hell. I don't know if you know what I'm talking. I think it's blood. It might be sweat, but it was like a really dark scene. So I don't.
yeah,
I think it was blood because he was like doing a job on you for his
yeah,
interrogation. But the blood was like there was like drops just coming. It was like so realistic. It was great.
yeah. I think I really just, I lost myself for a moment during that scene. And you know what's funny? It was freezing cold in there.
Yeah, yeah,
So you know, we were supposed to play hot, but it was freezing cold. So which kind of helped, because I had a little chatter to me.
yeah,
Um, but I wasn't cold. You know, again, you put your mind in a different space, and you know there was probably real sweat dripping down. You know, until they said cut, and I started shaking again. But yeah, people were telling me, "Man, that scene, like, how did you?" I'm like, "I don't know. I just I got rid of Kendrick for the moment, you know,
yeah,
and
yeah,
became someone who potentially was about to die. This tough guy that wouldn't tell, but I don't know. You know, you just jump outside yourself, and you become believable.
Yeah, I think Kendrick, that's what hit Stranger fans the hardest. Stranger Things fans the hardest is that the lengths Agent Wallace went to protect 11. I think these, like I said, and I don't want to sound repetitive, but these fans are so appreciative of those kind gestures, those acts of bravery, and like I don't know what you could say about it. Oh, what a beautiful dog! I heard him drinking water earlier. What a beauty!
Yeah,
what a beauty!
He just won't leave me alone. He's a new guy. He's a stray, man. I found him about a month ago.
Yeah.
And I checked for a chip, and he didn't have one. And I was like, I can't have a dog right now. I can't have a dog right now. But I started to think there was a reason he came and sat on my feet. So that's what happened. He was walking down the road. I whistled. He immediately ran and just sat on my feet, and he wouldn't leave. So I was like, oh God.
Yeah, the choice is out of your hands at that point, right?
Yeah.
What a beauty. Well, how old do you think he is? How old do they think he is, Kendrick?
I want to say he's between 6 and 8 months.
Oh, he's a beauty. What a gorgeous dog.
Because he still has puppy breath.
Yeah. So like I was saying, like, what do you think it is? Like, so the fans are so enamored. They love those gestures from those. Like, I've had guests on where the smaller parts, but I don't view it that way. I feel like everybody's part of telling a story, so I feel like I don't like saying smaller, bigger. I don't know, but like they love what Agent Wallace did for 11. Talk about that. Talk about like him going that extra mile for 11 when he didn't have to, and it probably was going to cost him his life.
Right. Sorry. Get down. So, a big part of what we do, we have to substitute, right?
Right.
That's what helped me get there. I substituted 11 for a family member. And what I would do, your mom, your sister, you got to give up your life. You have to. And I think once you make a successful substitution, I can't remember who I used in that instance. I think my little nephew or something. But once you lock in on that, everything else becomes real. It's real. I'm saving him. I'm saving my nephew. No, I'm not going to tell you. I refuse to, because it's family. And I think the fact that that's the mind state, the mindset that I had to be in order to just be believable and understand that no way in hell I was going to give up 7. Until I did. Of course, get down.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
Get down. Come here.
Yeah, but even like he turns back and he says talking about 11 to Sullivan, he says, don't hurt her. Don't hurt her. Like, so it's just, he goes the extra mile, which is just, it's a tough scene to watch, but it's a heartfelt scene to absorb. So it's kind of beautiful in that way, Kendrick.
Right.
So last question for you, and thank you for all this time.
No. I'm having fun.
Yeah. So when we talk about your partner in that was Agent Harmon. Do you guys talk about how to approach any scenes, or is that just let's go with it, let's do our thing?
No, they so sometimes yes. This particular time with Stranger Things, no, they just threw me in there. Yeah. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know. Did I remember him from the season 3? Was he in season 3?
He was. I don't believe. You know what? He was in earlier episodes. Yes, he was. Kevin.
Okay.
Yes,
so I didn't remember. I didn't remember him from that. Which was I guess was a good thing. So I played it authentic.
Yeah.
And we didn't talk about it. Now this second. So we shot it out of order. The first part where we were in the house with the kids.
Yes.
He and I did have a conversation where he came up and I was still alive after they had shot me. He and I did have a conversation about doing something. Sorry, man.
You're getting eaten up while I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
Kendrick, what's your dog's name?
Maxwell.
Yeah. Oh, what a beauty.
Yeah.
So it does sound like you guys did like talk about it. But like you are, again, like I said, you're in maybe the best episode of all time, Dear Billy, which was season 4, episode 4. That's when everybody went crazy for that song, Running Up That Hill, where, I mean, it's an iconic episode. It gets like a 9.6 on IMDb. So,
wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So do you follow the last season? I mean, knowing how you really didn't know how well you were appreciated in the Stranger Things community? Because you really,
I didn't.
wow.
I think I had a podcast done shortly after it aired, and I start to realize that how big the fans are. Yeah, and
Yeah.
how some people knew me, but like even hearing you say this to me, I'm like, wow, like it really makes me feel good and inspired and stop, man. Sorry.
You are
I don't
getting eaten alive.
I don't know why he's going so crazy right now. Okay,
He
stop,
wants
stop.
his dad back, and I'm keeping him from him. Yeah, I get it. I get it.
No, I think he wants to go outside. Stop, man.
So
Stop.
before I let you go, Kendrick, is there any social media stuff you wanted to throw out there? Any future projects? Anything you wanted to get off your chest?
Yeah, please. And thanks for that. My Instagram and YouTube is the same. It's just I am Kendrick Cross. I kept it simple. Facebook, I think it's facebook.com/. It still might be under Kenny the Poet.
Yep.
That was
Yep.
that was my old moniker. I haven't gotten into TikTok yet, but I did create a page for that. But
Okay.
we don't know if it's going to be around. So
Right.
it's been really slow, Derek. I'm gonna be honest, and like you said, acting is up and down. People think we're always working. People think we're full of money.
Yeah. No, it's hard. It's
No,
hard.
the industry's been rough these last couple of years with COVID, the strike, and we never fully recovered from the strike. So it's just been really rough, and I've been getting by the best I can. So not many projects coming out other than a couple of independents.
You're right.
But I did finally get on with Kevin Hart. So I did a Kevin Hart Die Hard 3,
Yep.
which I think is playing now,
Yep.
which was really cool because I had been on, I got booked for Toronto, Man in Toronto, I think one of his films.
Yep.
COVID hit, they cut all the Atlanta cast. They cut them off.
Oh man.
And the role was huge. I would have been there 2 months,
Yeah.
shot in Atlanta and Canada. And yeah, they cut it. So I was really hurt by that. And then I got back on. So
Yeah.
really excited. He's a really good guy, and he's killing the industry right now. He's someone I look up to
Yeah.
in regard to how he moves and stays positive.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping this year will be another good year, a breakout year for me. Because other than that, I would always do pretty good.
Right.
I was booking about 20 something gigs a year, which was really high for most people. I think I hit 27 the year I booked Ambitions.
Yep.
So and I still never give myself enough credit. I'm really hard on myself. Sometimes I don't think I'm doing as good as I do, but I'm glad that people like you and friends who just boost me up a little bit and keep me from being a denier, too much in my abilities. I just try to stay humble and just stay proud of just having the opportunity.
Yeah, you were meant to do this. There's no question about that, man. Yeah, you're
Thank you,
terrific talent. I hope you come back on down the road, Kendrick. Anytime you want, please come back. If there's a project you want, talk to me, hook me up, and you're on. So thank you for that.
Oh, I really appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah. Enjoy. It was so great to talk to you. It was great to meet Maxwell. And until next time, Kendrick, thank you for taking time for me today.
Oh, thank you for having me, man. I really appreciate that.